Hello YouTube world and welcome back to my channel. On today's video we're going to purify potassium nitrate. It's going to be used for the gunpowder that I am going to use in my rocket. Now the reason why I'm purifying it, I want to see if it's better as a purified form or can we just use it like this for the rocket? Will it still separate? Do I need as much? Those questions will be answered in a later episode, but for today we are going to crystallize this potassium nitrate to hopefully make it pure. And the more times you do this process, the purer it gets. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the things that you're going to need is distilled water. I already have the distilled water in there. And the reason why you want to use it, because you don't want to introduce impurities to your potassium nitrate. Here is my potassium nitrate. It's a stump remover. There is my bowl that once the liquid is heated enough and stirred enough, I'm going to pour it in there and you're going to see it start to crystallize because the ice here is going to bring the temperature down within the bowl. Now that the stove's been on for a while and the water is heated, I'm going to go ahead and add the potassium nitrate to the water. Now I don't know how much water to put. A long time ago when I've made this stuff, I knew the water to potassium nitrate. One thing I've learned, it really doesn't matter. Crystallizes no matter how much or how little water you have in it. So I put enough in there to not all boil out at the same time to compensate for 1 pound of potassium nitrate into the... So we're going to let this heat up some more. Once we start seeing bubbling, then we're going to go ahead and start stirring. And then once we've stirred enough, we're going to go ahead and pour it in a silver bowl and watch it start to crystallize. So you want to make sure you stir it. Dissolve it into your solution of water. So now we'll just let that sit and continue to heat up and we'll keep stirring. One thing you'll notice too is that you'll see crystals when I stir. When they start forming here, then we're pretty much good to go on the pour. So we gotta wait for that. Okay, as you can see based on the color of the fluid, it's not milky anymore, it's being absorbed by the water. Soon we'll be able to take it out of solution and develop our crystals. So we'll give that another 10 minutes or so. Now it looks like we're almost there. Not quite bubbling yet, but when you stir and you let it dry, you'll start to see crystals forming on the spoon. See, as you can see, it's already forming the crystals on the spoon itself. You'll see them as little white spots on the spoon. They look like calcium. So yeah, our witch's brew is almost done here. I guess in this case, since I'm not a witch, this would be the warlock's brew, but anyways. But yeah, see the crystals on the spoon? So yeah, we're almost there. You can hear the thermal difference between the hot and the cold based on the popping noise you're hearing. Kind of like a Stirling engine here, except without the moving parts. So as you can see, it did form crystals. But it's not that spectacular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo it, and I'm going to use 2 bottles this time with the same amount of water and see what I get for crystals. Alright, well, this is with 2 bottles, and what a difference. Look at the crystalline structure on this guy. Look at that. So yeah, this second batch came out way better. I'm pretty impressed. So that was the second batch, and here was the first. Sorry about the whitewash. but I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at those crystals. Even sparkle. Alright, well, next thing is to crush it up and grind it. So after doing the 2 pounds of the potassium nitrate, I ended up getting this. Like I said, the first one was a failure. Well, not really a failure, but I would have liked better results. This is what I was expecting. So after doing a second try, using 2.5 quarts of water to 2 pounds of the potassium nitrate, this is what I ended up with. Now, it looked a little bit better. As you can see, when I was pouring out the water, it kind of slid. So I ended up losing some of the potassium nitrate. It fell on the ground, so I'd have to repurify that. I separated that one out. But yeah, big difference between the first batch and the second batch. Now, one thing is though, do not throw away the potassium nitrate water. You can get more potassium nitrate out of there. I leave the bottles in the car, and the heat from the sun, with the car heat. And if you pull that bottle out like after a few days and stick it back in your freezer, you can extract more potassium nitrate, and I just keep repeating that process till I don't get any more crystals. Yeah, this is the purified form of the potassium nitrate. You can purify it more though. If you do the process again, the more times you do it, the less crystals you'll have. The less potassium nitrate you'll have. But the purer the form is. But this is as pure as I'm going to get it. Gunpowder for the rocket. We have the potassium nitrate dried out. In other words, after pouring out the water, I've let it air dry. Now it's time to bake the water out of the potassium nitrate. So I've set the oven to 175 degrees, and we're going to go ahead and bake that until the potassium nitrate has dissipated all the water that's within its molecules. And then we'll let that cool down. We'll stick it in a bag, stick a little water absorber, those silicone packets that you usually find in like beef jerky or whatever that needs to not have moisture in it. And we're going to go ahead and preserve our potassium nitrate that way. So as you can see, what I've also done too is crush down the crystals. But they're still very shiny. I mean, I purified it a couple of times off video. So this is really pure potassium nitrate. It's not the whole batch, of course, but I want to make sure it evaporates all the water, so I didn't want to stack on top. I just wanted a thin layer as possible. For this first one, and then I'll do the whole thing on the next shot or whatever's left over. Okay, now that we got our potassium nitrate in there, I guess I threw it a little early. That beep was to let me know that the oven has reached temperature. But one thing I forgot to mention was the reason why you want it to air dry and not put this in wet is because the potassium nitrate, as it dries in the oven, will become very sticky. And even though I'm using aluminum, it will stick to that, and you'll get these like goopy results. So make sure when you purify your potassium nitrate to let it completely air dry before you oven bake it. Alright guys, well that's it. I thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe so that way you can see when I turn this potassium nitrate into gunpowder by mixing it with sulfur and charcoal. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day.